Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into something pretty fundamental to all your relationships.
Yeah.
Communication.
Right.
That phrase you hear all the time.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
It is key.
But honestly, how many of us have really been taught how to use that key?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when things get tough.
Yeah.
Have you ever avoided a needed conversation? Maybe said, "I'm fine," when you were so not fine.
Yeah.
Or even had a huge emotional outburst
Yeah.
after keeping things bottled up for so long.
Yeah.
Well, this deep dive is for you.
That is such a good point because we all get it. We get that communication is important.
Right.
We know that intellectually. But the actual skills to have those tough conversations, we're not really taught that. And that's really where a lot of challenges in our relationships come from, I think, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And so in this deep dive, our mission is clear. We want to unpack why those tough conversations really matter. Highlight common mistakes that we all make.
Mm-hmm.
Explore how we can approach conflict in a way that actually builds stronger connections instead of tearing them down. And most importantly, give you some real actionable tips to become a better communicator
Yes.
in all of your relationships.
I love it.
Partner, friends, family, anyone.
All of them.
Yeah.
And it's so relatable, too, because I'm sure a lot of people listening right now can think of those times when they just avoid a conversation because it feels too hard. Or they just say, "I'm fine,"
Oh, yeah.
when they're not. Or those things build up and then they just explode.
That's like that. So this is for anyone who's ever felt those things.
Really, too.
Because let's be real, avoiding these conversations
Yeah.
doesn't magically make the problem disappear.
No.
It's more like, hey, they just fester and grow.
Right.
Like this unseen emotional mold that damages our connection.
Totally.
The pressure builds. And then something so small,
Yeah.
like who didn't do the dishes,
Mm-hmm.
erupts into this huge fight.
It's fascinating because the goal isn't to live in this conflict-free fantasy world.
Right.
That's not realistic. The point is, healthy communication is figuring out how to deal with conflict
Yes.
when it comes up with respect, honesty, and empathy for the other person.
Yeah.
But as we're going to talk about today, those skills, they're not something you just are born with them. It takes work and practice.
So let's unpack this a little more. Why do these tough conversations really matter?
Well, I think like we said, avoidance is a huge one.
Right.
When we keep avoiding those tough topics, those issues don't just disappear. It's like a pressure cooker. The longer you avoid letting that steam out, the higher the pressure gets. And then eventually it blows.
And then it blows up over something totally insignificant.
Like the dishes.
Right? It's not about the dishes.
Right.
It's about all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's feeling unheard, unappreciated, things that have been brewing and not addressed.
Exactly. And that's why actually having those conversations is so important for the health of your relationships. Prevents those small things from becoming huge things, relationship-ending things. Plus, it just signals respect for the other person and the relationship. So now that we know why these conversations are so important, let's dive into some of the common mistakes we make.
Okay.
What are some of the communication mistakes that you think our listeners might recognize in their own lives?
Oh, there are so many. But one of the biggest ones is assuming mind reading.
Oh.
So you might be upset about something, but you don't say anything.
Right.
And then you expect the other person to just know what's wrong. And just sets everyone up for a lot of disappointment and frustration.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
The silent treatment. And expecting the other person to just know what they did wrong.
And it never works.
It's so unproductive.
It is.
And it leads to a lot of frustration on both sides.
On both.
The person who's feeling upset feels ignored and misunderstood.
Right.
The other person is confused, doesn't know what's going on, feels blame.
For something they didn't even know they did.
Another mistake is using you statements.
Oh, yeah.
You never listen. You always do this.
That is an immediate defensive. Right there.
You just put the other person on the defensive.
Exactly. As soon as you start a sentence with you, in a tense situation, it feels like an attack.
Yeah.
And of course, they're going to defend themselves instead of actually hearing what you're saying.
And the source material offers this great alternative using I statements.
Oh, I statements are so helpful.
Instead of saying, you never listen. Try, I feel unheard when
I love that.
It's a simple shift in language.
I love that.
That's so powerful.
It is because it moves it away from blame and onto your personal feelings and experience.
Yeah.
And that opens the door for connection and understanding. Instead of defensiveness.
It's about taking ownership of your own feelings and experience instead of blaming. What are some other common mistakes?
Okay, well, another one is poor timing.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing up a really sensitive topic during an argument or when someone is stressed or tired. It never goes well.
No, it's like your brain can't handle it.
It's like trying to solve a complex math problem.
Right.
When you're already exhausted, it's not going to work.
And then there's bottling things up.
Oh, yeah. The classic.
We avoid those conversations, thinking we're keeping the peace, but really it's just building.
It is. It's building.
Then we explode over something small.
And everyone's confused, hurt, like what just happened?
Just that straw that broke the camel's back.
It's exactly.
You've been tolerating.
Yeah.
And tolerating.
Right.
And tolerating. And then one little thing. And you lose it.
And your reaction is totally out of proportion.
Yes.
To what actually happened.
And finally, another big mistake.
Talking to win.
Oh.
So many of us go into conversations wanting to be right.
To prove the other person wrong. And it just turns it into this argument.
Yeah.
Where someone has to win. And someone has to lose.
It shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't.
In healthy communication.
Yeah.
Both people should feel heard, respected, understood.
Even if
you don't agree on everything.
Right. It's not about scoring points.
Yeah.
Or being right.
No.
It's about understanding each other.
It is.
So we've looked at the mistakes. Now for the important part.
Yeah.
How do we actually do this better?
Okay.
How do we communicate better in our relationships?
Let's start with what we talked about before, the I statements.
Okay.
So powerful. Instead of saying, you don't care about my feelings.
Right, which just makes people defensive.
Totally.
I've been feeling a bit distant lately.
Yeah.
And I'd really like it. If we could find some time to reconnect.
So much better.
It's so powerful.
It is.
That little change makes the other person less likely to feel attacked, more open to hearing you. Another important tip is to be really clear on your own goal.
Oh, yes.
Before you even start the conversation. So before you go into that conversation, really think, what am I trying to achieve here?
What do you actually want?
Do I just want to feel heard? Do I want them to change their behavior? Do I want support?
Yeah, knowing that beforehand will help you stay on track when things start to get emotional.
Because if you don't know what you want, it's so easy to get sidetracked and just keep bringing up old stuff.
Yes.
Tip number 3, validate before you debate.
Okay.
Now, this one might feel a little counterintuitive, but even if you disagree with the other person, take a moment to acknowledge their feelings.
Just acknowledge that they feel that way. Things like, I see where you're coming from, or that makes sense. Given how you're feeling.
It really helps the other person feel heard, even if you don't agree.
Because you're saying, I hear you. I acknowledge your experience, even if I don't agree.
And it just creates a sense of safety and makes them more open to hearing you.
Exactly. Validation isn't agreement. It's just acknowledging their experience. And that can really de-escalate things.
Tip number 4, be aware of your own emotional state.
This is so important.
If you're starting to feel overwhelmed, like you're going into fight or flight, take a pause.
Take a step back.
The source material suggests taking some deep breaths, maybe journaling your feelings, and come back to the conversation. When you're calmer.
When you can actually listen.
Yeah.
Not just react.
Because trying to have a conversation when you're flooded with emotions.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
It just creates more conflict.
Right.
More misunderstanding.
But give yourself that space.
Yes.
To regulate your emotions.
So you come back.
And then.
Yeah.
And that leads us to our 5th tip. Timeouts.
Oh, timeouts are so helpful.
Just like with kids. Sometimes you just got to hit pause.
You do.
You can say things like, I want to keep talking, but I need a few minutes to gather my thoughts. Or, I'm feeling really emotional right now. Can we take a break and come back later? When we've both calmed down.
It's not avoiding the conversation, it's just taking a break.
Right, it's regulating your emotions.
Exactly.
And then actually coming back.
Yeah, you got to come back.
You can't just sweep it under the rug.
No sweeping.
The point of the break is to regroup and then come back.
With a clear head.
Let's look at a real-life example.
Okay.
The source material gives a great one about a partner who's always late.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes the other person feel disrespected. What does a typical unhealthy reaction to that look like?
Okay, so the unhealthy reaction would be to say nothing, let the resentment build, and then explode and say something like, "You're always late. You don't care about my time. You don't care about me."
It's accusatory.
It is.
It's a you statement. It doesn't actually explain how you feel.
It just attacks the other person.
Right. So a healthier approach might sound like this. Hey, I've noticed you've been running a lot lately. It makes me feel unimportant, even though I know that's probably not your intention. Can we maybe talk about how to better manage our time together?
I love that.
It starts with an observation, then uses an I statement, and then invites a solution.
Without blame.
Right.
Without assumptions.
It's so much better.
It is.
Now, another important thing is that not everyone communicates the same way.
Oh, that is so true.
So how does understanding that help us navigate these conversations?
Well, people have different styles.
Right.
Some people are very direct, get straight to the point. Others are more indirect. They value tact and diplomacy.
Right.
And understanding those differences can help you so much.
Yes.
Because if you know that your partner shuts down when they feel attacked, then you wouldn't try to have that confrontation in the heat of the moment.
Some people need space.
Right.
Some people need reassurance. Some people need facts. Some people need feelings.
It's all different.
It's about knowing who you're communicating with.
Exactly.
And tailoring your approach to fit their needs.
And that can really help you connect on a deeper level because you're speaking their language.
And this isn't just for romantic relationships.
No, not at all.
Right.
This applies to friends and family, too.
Maybe even more so.
Maybe even more so.
The source material gives us some examples of how to approach these conversations with friends and family. So with a friend, you might say, hey, this might feel a little awkward, but I've been feeling blank ever since blank. Would you be open to talking about it?
I like that.
Or with family, I know we don't always see eye to eye.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share how I'm feeling. And I appreciate it if you could just listen.
Without judgment. Yeah.
Just listen.
And these examples really show how much courage it takes to have these conversations.
It's not easy.
Especially with people we've known for so long. But even though it's hard, it's so important.
For healthy relationships, avoiding them might seem easier, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah, the cost of connection, of understanding, of a healthy relationship.
Finally, the source material gives us some really practical tools that we can use. So can you walk us through some of those?
Okay, so the first one is the feelings wheel.
Oh.
This is a visual tool that helps you identify and articulate your emotions. Sometimes we just feel bad or upset, but we can't really name the feeling. So the feelings wheel gives you more specific words. Instead of just sad or angry, you can say frustrated, disappointed, insecure, overwhelmed, and that helps you communicate better.
It's all about building. Emotional literacy. It was so important for communication.
Absolutely.
Another tool is active listening.
Oh, yes. Active listening is key.
It's more than just hearing the words. It's really paying attention.
With your whole self.
To their entire message. Trying to understand their perspective and then reflecting back what you've heard before you respond.
So it's not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's making sure you understand them and reflecting it back to them.
And by doing that, you can clear up any misunderstandings, make sure you're on the same page before you move on.
Yeah.
The source also suggests journaling before you talk.
Oh, journaling can be so helpful.
To help organize your thoughts. So you're not overwhelmed in the moment.
Right.
And you don't get sidetracked.
Exactly.
And finally, the idea of safe words.
Okay. Safe words.
Or cues.
Yeah.
So this is something you agree on beforehand with your partner, friend, family member, to signal when things are getting too heated.
Yeah.
Like a pause button.
Exactly.
So it could be a word or a phrase. That means, I need a break.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed.
Time out.
Right?
You need to pause.
And it's not about avoiding the conversation.
No, it's about taking a break.
Right.
To calm down.
It's like a pre-agreed emotional regulation tool.
It is.
So this has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
Into tough conversations. What's the most important takeaway?
I think the biggest thing to remember is you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
Communication is a skill. It takes practice. The goal isn't to never have tough conversations or to always get them right. It's about being willing to try to listen with empathy and to be honest.
Even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard.
And that willingness to engage, even when it's hard, is so important.
It is.
For strong relationships. Because relationships aren't built on avoiding conflict or pretending everything's okay when it's not.
Right.
They're built on truth,
patience,
and courage.
The courage to have those tough conversations with kindness and honesty.
So the next time you feel that hesitation before a tough conversation, remember, take a breath. Speak your truth. Be kind, but be honest.
Because that's where it starts.
That's where the healing starts. That's where the connection starts. And on that note, think about a relationship in your life. What's one small step you can take towards more open communication?